Millionaire widower forgot his children at home and fell in love upon seeing the maid with them. Harrison Sterling was running through the company hallways like a desperate man. He had just received an urgent call from the Japanese investors, and if he didn't make it to the meeting in 15 minutes, he would lose the $10 million contract he had been negotiating for months. That's when he stopped abruptly in the middle of the corridor. His newborn twins were home alone with the new maid Maya, who had been hired just the week before. The babies, only 3 months old, Noah and Liam, had depended completely on him since he lost his wife during childbirth. "My God, what have I done?" he murmured to himself, feeling his heart race. Maya Sullivan was only 25 and had been working as a housekeeper in the businessman's home for just a few days. When she woke up that morning, she found a hurried note in the kitchen. "Had to leave for an urgent meeting. The boys are sleeping. Back in a few hours, Harrison." She went up the stairs slowly, worried. She had never cared for babies so small by herself. Upon opening the bedroom door, she found the 2 little ones crying desperately in their cribs. Their diapers were dirty and it was clear they were hungry. "Shh, shh," she whispered, picking up Noah first. "Auntie Maya is here." The baby calmed instantly at her gentle touch. She rocked him while preparing the bottle with one hand, remembering the instructions Harrison had given her hastily the day before. 2 hours passed. Maya had changed both their diapers, given them bottles, and now they were sleeping peacefully on her bed, one on each side. She had taken off the yellow cleaning gloves she always wore and lay down between them, humming softly a song her mother used to sing to her as a child. "Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock," she sang softly, stroking the baby's fine hair. That's when she heard the front door slam shut. Hurried footsteps came up the stairs. Harrison had returned early from the meeting, overcome with worry. He opened the bedroom door, expecting to find chaos, crying babies, perhaps even the nervous maid asking for help. Instead, he found a scene that left him speechless. Maya was lying between his children, all 3 sleeping deeply. The babies had their tiny hands resting on her arm, as if recognizing her as protection. The young woman had taken off her shoes and was sleeping on her side, with an expression of peace he hadn't seen on anyone's face in months. Harrison stood in the doorway for several minutes, just watching. There was something in that image that touched a part of his heart he thought had died since he lost Claire. For the first time in months, his children seemed truly at peace. Maya woke slowly, feeling someone watching. When she opened her eyes and saw Harrison standing in the doorway, she felt her face flush with embarrassment. "I'm sorry, Mr. Harrison," she said softly, trying to get up without waking the babies. "They cried a lot and "It's all right," he interrupted, his voice softer than usual. "You did exactly what I would have done." Maya managed to get out of bed without disturbing the boys. She smoothed the pink pajamas she had put on for comfort and picked up the yellow gloves she had left on the dresser. "How was the meeting?" she asked, genuinely interested. Harrison looked at her, surprised. Claire used to ask about his work, but since she was gone, no one else had shown real interest in how his day had been. "I managed to close the contract," he replied, but then added something that surprised even him. "But I was worried about them the whole time. It was the first time I'd left them alone for so long." "They are very sweet babies," said Maya, looking at the still sleeping twins. "Noah likes it when I sing, and Liam calms down when I stroke his hair." "How do you tell them apart?" asked Harrison, impressed. Even he sometimes confused his sons. "Noah has a tiny little spot behind his left ear," she explained naturally, "and Liam always sleeps on his back while Noah prefers his side." Harrison felt a strange emotion rise in his chest. Maya had learned more about his sons in 1 week than he had observed in 3 months. In the days that followed, Harrison began to pay more attention to the household routine. Maya always arrived at 7 in the morning, and before starting any housework, would go upstairs to check on the babies. She had created a routine where she first changed their diapers, then prepared their bottles, and only then took care of cleaning the house. "Good morning, my little angels," he heard her say every morning. "Auntie Maya is here to take care of you." One morning, Harrison decided to leave for work later, just to better observe how she interacted with Noah and Liam. He hid in the hallway, listening to her talk to the babies as if they could answer. "It's a beautiful day outside," she said, while changing Noah's diaper. "When you're older, we'll play in the garden. You'll like running on the grass." Noah gurgled in response, moving his little arms in the air. "Ah, you agree with me," laughed Maya. "I knew you'd like the idea." Harrison smiled involuntarily. He hadn't heard genuine laughter in his house for a long time. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out, now continuing. A week later, Harrison's mother, Mrs. Evelyn, showed up unannounced. She was a 62-year-old woman, elegant and accustomed to having control over everything in the family. She had been against Harrison hiring a maid so young and with no formal childcare experience. "Harrison, where are you?" she shouted from the entrance. "I came to see my grandchildren." Harrison came down the stairs quickly, knowing his mother always brought trouble when she arrived unannounced. "Hi, Mom, the boys are with Maya." "With the maid?" Mrs. Evelyn raised her tone. "Where were you?" "I was working in the home office. Maya takes very good care of them." "Working? And you left your children with a stranger?" The indignation was evident in her voice. "That girl is barely 20, Harrison. What does she know about taking care of babies?" At that moment, Maya came down the stairs, carrying both babies, one in each arm. Both were clean, well-dressed and calm. "Good afternoon," Maya greeted politely, but noticed the tension in the room. "Give me my grandchildren," ordered Mrs. Evelyn, extending her arms. Maya looked at Harrison, who nodded positively. She passed Noah first to his grandmother, but as soon as the baby left her arms, he began to cry. The same happened with Liam. "Are they hungry?" asked Mrs. Evelyn, trying to calm Noah. "They were fed an hour ago," replied Maya. "I think they're unsettled by the new situation. No matter how much Mrs. Evelyn tried, the babies wouldn't stop crying." After 10 minutes, she handed the children back to Maya, who immediately managed to calm them. "This is very strange," murmured Mrs. Evelyn, clearly bothered. Harrison watched everything in silence. It was undeniable that his children had a special bond with Maya. They recognized her scent, her voice, her touch. "Mom, she's doing a good job," said Harrison. "The boys are well cared for." "This isn't natural, Harrison," replied Mrs. Evelyn. "Children shouldn't prefer a stranger to their own grandmother." "She's not a stranger anymore," answered Harrison, surprising himself. "Maya takes care of them every day. It's natural they've gotten used to her." Mrs. Evelyn spent the rest of the afternoon observing Maya's every move, looking for something to criticize. But the young woman was meticulous in everything. She prepared the bottles at the exact temperature, changed the diapers with extreme care, and always washed her hands before touching the babies. "Where are you from?" asked Mrs. Evelyn during snack time. "I'm from the Midwest, ma'am. I came to New York City 2 years ago." "And your family?" "My mother still lives there. My father passed away when I was 15. "And you never married?" Maya hesitated for a moment before answering. "No, ma'am. I never found the right person." Mrs. Evelyn noticed the hesitation, but pressed no further. There was something in the momentary sadness in Maya's eyes that made her back off. When Mrs. Evelyn left, Harrison felt he needed to talk to Maya. "I'm sorry if my mother was a bit too direct," he said. "No need to apologize. She's worried about her grandchildren. It's normal. Do you mind if I ask why you hesitated when she asked about marriage?" Maya looked at the floor, clearly uncomfortable. "It's a sad story, Mr. Harrison. I'd rather not talk about it." "Of course, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to invade your privacy." "Thank you for understanding." That night, Harrison had trouble sleeping. There was something about Maya that piqued his curiosity. She was dedicated, caring, and clearly hiding some kind of pain. He recognized signs of loss in her gaze, perhaps because he carried his own. The next day, Harrison made an unprecedented decision. He worked from home to better observe how Maya interacted with his children. He settled into the office right next to the baby's room. During the morning, he heard Maya singing lullabies he had never heard before. Her soft voice soothed not only the babies, but also himself. It had been a long time since he had heard music in the house. Around noon, one of the babies started crying more than usual. Harrison was about to go up when he heard Maya talking to the little one. "I know, little Noah, your tummy hurts, doesn't it? Let's give you a little massage here," she said with infinite patience. "My mother always did this for me when I was little." The crying stopped within minutes. Harrison was impressed with Maya's maternal intuition. She seemed to instinctively know what each baby needed. In the afternoon, when Maya went down to prepare lunch, Harrison discreetly went up to the boys' room. Noah and Liam were sleeping soundly, but there was a soft scent of lavender in the air. He noticed that Maya had changed the crib sheets and organized all the toys. In the closet, he found the baby's clothes perfectly folded and organized by color. There were even small handwritten labels. Noah, 3 months, and Liam, 3 months. The attention to detail was touching. "Mr. Harrison?" Maya's voice startled him. She had come up to fetch some dirty laundry. "Sorry, I was just checking on them." "They slept well after lunch," she said, beginning to collect the used diapers. "Noah is a bit fussier today. I think he's feeling some discomfort." "How do you know?" "He made some different faces during feeding, and when he lay down he was moving his little legs more than usual." Harrison watched her intently. Maya had developed a knowledge about his children that even he didn't possess. "Maya, may I ask a personal question?" She looked at him warily. "Have you taken care of babies before?" "No, not exactly," she replied, going back to folding the little clothes. "But I've always been good with children." "It's more than being good," said Harrison. "You have a natural maternal instinct." Maya stopped folding the clothes and looked at him with teary eyes. "Mr. Harrison, there are things in my life I prefer not to discuss. I hope you understand." "Of course. I just want you to know I'm very grateful for everything you do for my children." She smiled timidly and returned to her work, but Harrison noticed he had touched on something deep and painful. That weekend, Harrison had to travel for business to Chicago. It would only be for a day, but it was the first time he would leave the twins for so long since their birth. "Are you sure you can handle it alone?" he asked on Friday night. "Of course. I'll be here early tomorrow. The boys were fine when you worked late on Thursday. But now it will be the whole night. If anything happens, call me immediately." "Don't worry. I'll take care of them as if they were—" She cut herself off, abruptly blushing. "As if they were what?" asked Harrison softly. "As if they were my own," she finished in a low voice. There was a silence heavy with emotion between them. Harrison felt his heart race at the sincerity of that confession. On Saturday, Maya arrived at 6 in the morning with a small suitcase. She had prepared everything to spend the day and night caring for the babies. She even brought ingredients to cook a special soup her mother used to make when she was sick. During the day, everything went well. The boys were calm and she managed to keep the routine normally. It was during the early morning hours that the situation became complicated. Around 2 in the morning, Liam woke up, crying differently. It wasn't hunger or a dirty diaper. Maya picked him up and felt he was warm. "Oh my God, you have a fever," she murmured, carrying him to the kitchen to get the thermometer. The temperature was 101.5 degrees. Maya felt panic for a few seconds, but then remembered her mother's advice and the first aid she had learned. She gave the baby a lukewarm bath, put lighter clothes on him, and offered water with a small spoon. Throughout the early morning, she kept watch on his temperature and applied cool compresses to the little one's forehead. Around 5 in the morning, the fever began to subside. Liam finally fell asleep in her arms, breathing normally. Maya spent the rest of the early morning awake, checking his temperature every hour. When Harrison arrived on Sunday afternoon, he found Maya sleeping in the armchair in the room with Liam in her arms. There were damp compresses scattered on the dresser, and the thermometer was still on the nightstand. "Maya," he called softly. She woke up startled. "Mr. Harrison, how was the trip?" "What happened here?" he asked, seeing the signs that something had happened during the night. "Liam had a fever in the early morning. It reached 101.5, but I managed to bring it down with compresses and a lukewarm bath. He's normal now." Harrison took his son in his arms and checked that he was indeed fine. The temperature was normal and the baby seemed rested. "Why didn't you call me?" "I thought about calling, but the fever didn't go above 101.5, and I managed to control the situation. I didn't want to worry you for no reason." "For no reason? Maya, he's my son." "I know," she replied with teary eyes. "I'm sorry. I did what I thought was best." Harrison realized he had been too harsh with her. Maya had handled a medical emergency alone and managed to resolve everything perfectly. "I'm sorry," he said more gently. "You did everything right. I'm the one who got scared. You don't need to apologize. I understand your concern." "Were you awake all night?" "Yes, but it's not a problem. When children have a fever, someone needs to keep an eye on them." Harrison looked at Maya with admiration. She had sacrificed an entire night's sleep to care for his son as a mother would. On Monday, Mrs. Evelyn appeared at the house again, this time bringing a middle-aged woman. "Harrison, this is Deborah Vance," she announced. She is a certified nanny with 15 years of experience in traditional family homes. "Mom, what are you talking about?" "I hired Deborah to replace your little nanny," said Mrs. Evelyn, as if it were obvious. "She has excellent references and knows modern childcare techniques." "Mother, Maya is doing an excellent job." "Harrison, you can't mix feelings with responsibility. Your children need professional care." Deborah was a serious woman, 45 years old, dressed impeccably in white. She carried a briefcase with certificates and references. "Mr. Sterling," she said formally, "I have experience with twins and can implement a strict routine that will be beneficial for the children's development." "Where is Maya?" asked Harrison. "She's upstairs with the boys," replied Mrs. Evelyn. "Let's go up so Deborah can assess the environment." The four of them went up to the baby's room. Maya was singing softly while changing Noah's diaper. When she saw the group, she became visibly tense. "Maya, this is Deborah," said Mrs. Evelyn. "She's going to demonstrate some professional childcare techniques." "Excuse me," said Deborah, approaching the crib where Liam was. She picked up the baby with precise but mechanical movements. Liam immediately took a dislike to it and began to cry. "He needs a stricter routine," commented Deborah, examining the child as if he were an object. "Babies this age should feed every 3 hours exactly, not when they're hungry." Noah, who was with Maya, started crying too upon hearing his brother. "They're upset because they sense the tension in the room," explained Maya, trying to soothe Noah. "Nonsense," retorted Deborah. "They've been spoiled. With the correct routine, this will be resolved in a week." No matter how hard Deborah tried, Liam wouldn't stop crying. His screams became more desperate, and Noah joined the chorus of tears. "May I?" asked Maya, holding out her arms for Liam. As soon as the baby was in Maya's arms, the crying subsided. Within minutes, both twins were calm again. "Interesting," murmured Deborah, clearly bothered. "The children have developed an inappropriate emotional dependency." "Emotional dependency?" repeated Harrison. "They feel safe with her." "Mr. Sterling," said Deborah formally, "children need to adapt to different caregivers. This fixation is not healthy." Harrison watched his children in Maya's arms. They were relaxed, Noah even smiling. It was impossible to see that as harmful. "Thank you, Deborah," he said finally. "But I think we'll keep things as they are." "Harrison," protested Mrs. Evelyn, "you're making a mistake." "Mother, my children are well cared for and happy. I'm not going to change a situation that's working." After Deborah and Mrs. Evelyn left, Harrison and Maya were alone with the babies. "I'm sorry about that," he said. "My mother can be a bit controlling sometimes." "I understand her concerns," replied Maya, "but I can assure you I love these boys as if they were my own children." It was the second time she had used the word love to refer to the twins. Harrison felt something stir in his chest. "As if they were your children," he repeated softly. Maya blushed and lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean... I love them very much, but I know they're not mine." "You don't need to apologize. It's comforting to know someone loves my children like that." They were silent for a few moments, just watching the sleeping babies. "Maya, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Have you always wanted to have children?" The question hit Maya like a punch. Her eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. "I'm sorry," Harrison said quickly. That was too personal. No, it's okay. She took a deep breath. Yes, I've always wanted children, more than anything else in life. And you don't plan to have any in the future? I don't know if I can. The sadness in her voice was palpable. Harrison realized there was a painful secret behind that answer. The following week, Harrison began working more from home. Officially, it was to be more present in his children's lives, but secretly, he enjoyed watching Maya care for them. He noticed small details that made her special. She always warmed the bottle to the exact temperature, testing it on her own wrist. She talked to the babies throughout the feeding process, telling stories about her day. When they cried, she first checked if it was hunger, a dirty diaper, or just a need for affection. "It's a beautiful day today, isn't it, Noah?" she would say while preparing the bath. "Your mommy in heaven must be happy seeing how you're growing." Harrison stopped working when he heard her mention Claire. It was the first time someone had referred to his late wife in such a natural and affectionate way. "And you, Liam, you're getting smarter every day," Maya continued. "I'm sure your mommy is proud too." There was something deeply touching about how she included Claire in the boys' lives, even though she had never met her. That afternoon, Harrison went upstairs to fetch some documents from his room when he heard sobs coming from the nursery. He approached quietly and saw Maya sitting in the armchair, holding a small blue blanket that Claire had knitted during her pregnancy. "I'm sorry," she whispered to the blanket. "I know I can never replace her, but I promise I will love them as you would have." Tears streamed down her face as she pressed the blanket to her chest. Harrison felt a lump in his throat. He recognized that pain. It was the same one he felt every day since he lost Claire. "Maya," he called softly. She was startled and quickly wiped her tears. "I'm sorry, Mr. Harrison, I was just... The boys are sleeping." "You were crying." "No, I just..." "It's okay," he said, entering the room. "I cry sometimes too." Maya looked at him in surprise. "You cry?" "Every night," Harrison admitted, sitting on the edge of the bed. "Ever since Claire died, I cry every night." "I'm so sorry for your loss," Maya said sincerely. "She must have been a wonderful woman." "She was. And from the few things of hers I've seen you handle, I know you respect her too. Whenever I pick up something that was hers, I apologize mentally. I know I can never take her place." "You're not taking her place, Maya. You're creating your own place." They looked at each other in silence for a few seconds. An emotional connection was forming there, based on shared losses and love for the same little beings. "May I ask about your loss?" Harrison said gently. "I've noticed you carry some pain." Maya hesitated for a long time before answering. "I lost a baby," she whispered. 2 years ago." Harrison felt as if he'd been punched in the stomach. "My God, Maya. I'm so sorry." "I was 6 months pregnant," she continued, the tears returning. "It was a girl. We were going to name her Lily." "What happened?" "Complications during the pregnancy. The doctors said it was something rare, unpredictable." "And the father?" "He couldn't handle the loss. Said I reminded him too much of the tragedy. He broke up with me in the hospital 2 days after I lost Lily." Harrison felt anger toward that unknown man who had abandoned Maya at the most difficult moment of her life. "That's why I came to New York City," she continued. "I needed to start over far from everything that reminded me of her. And now? Isn't taking care of my children painful?" "At first, yes," Maya admitted. "But they've brought me a peace I hadn't felt in a long time, as if Lily had sent them to heal me." Harrison reached out and gently touched her arm. "Thank you for telling me that. You're not going to fire me for lying." "Lied about what?" "I said I never took care of babies, but the truth is, I took care of Sophia for 6 months, even before she was born." "That wasn't a lie, Maya. It was protection. You had the right to protect your pain." At that moment, Noah woke up and began to cry softly. Maya went to the crib and picked him up with the naturalness of a mother. "Hi, my love," she murmured to the baby. "Woke up from your nap." Harrison watched the scene with a heavy heart. There was so much tenderness in that gesture, so much genuine love. For the first time since he lost Claire, he felt his children had a true maternal figure. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot, as we're just starting out, now continuing. The following days were different. Now that Harrison knew Maya's story, he watched her with new eyes. Every care, every affection she showed the twins took on a deeper meaning. She wasn't just working. She was exercising the motherhood that had been stolen from her. One morning, Harrison woke up later and found Maya in the kitchen preparing bottles while humming softly. She wore the pink pajamas that had become an informal uniform and the yellow gloves she always took off before touching the babies. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning, Mr. Harrison. The coffee is ready." "Maya, you can just call me Harrison. No need for such formality." She smiled timidly. "Okay, Harrison." The name sounded different on her lips, more intimate, warmer. "Have the boys already eaten?" "Yes. Noah woke up at 5:30, then Liam woke up too. They're playing in the crib now." Harrison went upstairs to see his sons and found them lying side by side, babbling to each other. It was a habit they had developed recently, as if keeping secret conversations. "They do this every morning," said Maya, who had come up behind him. "I think they're planning mischief." Harrison laughed. It was the first time he had genuinely laughed in months. "You know them better than I do. They're very expressive babies. We just need to learn their language. And you've learned it. I'm learning every day." That weekend, Harrison made an unprecedented decision. He cancelled all work commitments to stay home with his children and Maya. He wanted to participate more in the boys' routine. "You don't have to stay," he said to Maya on Saturday morning. "I know you work Monday through Friday." "Actually, I like coming on Saturdays too," she admitted. "At home, I just think about them." "Then how about we spend the day together? You can teach me a few things about caring for them." Maya's eyes lit up. That would be great. They spent the morning organizing a joint routine. Harrison learned to change diapers properly. "No, not like that. You have to wipe from front to back," Maya taught patiently. "Prepare bottles at the correct temperature and identify different types of cries." "This is Noah's hungry cry," Maya explained. "It's sharper and more insistent. Liam's cry when he wants to be held is more whiny, a bit dramatic." Harrison paid attention to every detail. He realized he was discovering his own children through Maya's eyes. In the afternoon, they decided to take the babies for some air in the garden. Harrison carried Noah while Maya carried Liam. They walked side by side across the yard, and to any outside observer, they looked like a normal family. "They like feeling the wind on their faces," Maya commented. "They're always calmer outdoors." "How do you know these things?" "Observation and instinct, I guess." "It's more than instinct. You have a gift." Maya blushed at the compliment. "Thank you." They sat on the grass, placing the babies between them. Noah tried to catch the leaves swaying in the wind, while Liam watched everything with curious eyes. "Harrison, can I ask you a question?" "Of course. Do you plan to get married again?" The question caught him off guard. "I've never thought about it. Why?" "The boys will need a maternal figure when they grow up. They have you. I'm the nanny." "You're much more than that, and you know it." Maya fell silent, absorbing his words. "But what about you?" asked Harrison. "Do you plan to get married? Have children?" "I don't know if I could trust someone again," she admitted. "And after what happened with Lily, I'm afraid to try to have another baby." "Afraid of what?" "Of losing again. Of not being able to protect." "You protect Noah and Liam every day." "But they're not mine. If something happens—" "Nothing will happen," said Harrison firmly. "And even if they were your biological children, there would be no guarantee of anything. Unfortunately, life doesn't give guarantees." Maya looked at the babies playing on the grass. "Sometimes I dream that they are mine," she confessed. "I wake up and for a few seconds I forget I'm just the nanny." "Maya, I know it's wrong. They have a wonderful father. But they could have a wonderful mother too." They looked at each other intensely. There was a tension in the air, a connection they both felt, but neither had the courage to name. Noah started to cry, breaking the moment. "I think it's time for the afternoon nap," said Maya, picking him up. Yes, agreed Harrison, getting up with Liam. As they walked back to the house, Harrison couldn't stop thinking about Maya's confession. She dreamed the boys were her children, and lately he dreamed she was their mother. That night, after Maya had left, Harrison stayed in the children's room watching them sleep. The house felt different without her there, colder, emptier. For the first time in months, he admitted to himself that he was developing feelings for Maya. It wasn't just gratitude for the care she gave the children. It was a genuine attraction to the strong, caring woman she was. On Monday, Harrison was working when he heard loud voices coming from the entrance of the house. He went down quickly and found an unknown man arguing with Maya at the door. "I said I don't want to talk to you, Brandon," Maya was saying, trying to close the door. "Maya, please. We need to talk." The man was tall, well-dressed, and clearly not taking no for an answer. "Is there a problem here?" Harrison intervened. Brandon looked at him with disdain. "And who are you?" "The owner of the house, and you'll have to leave." "Relax, buddy. I just came to talk to my ex-fiancée." Harrison felt a pang of jealousy hearing the word ex-fiancée. "Maya made it clear she doesn't want to talk to you," Harrison said firmly. "I suggest you respect her wishes." "This is none of your business," Brandon retorted. "Maya, 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." "No," said Maya, her voice trembling. "I said everything I had to say 2 years ago. Things have changed. I've changed. Too late." Brandon tried to force his way in, but Harrison stepped in front of him. "I think you'd better leave," said Harrison, his tone threatening. "Who do you think you are, her new boyfriend?" The question bothered Harrison more than it should have. "I'm her employer, and I won't tolerate her being harassed in my home." "Maya," said Brandon, ignoring Harrison, "I know you still love me. I know you think about our Lily." Hearing the name of her lost daughter, Maya broke down in tears. "Don't talk about her," she whispered. "You have no right to talk about her. She was my daughter too. You abandoned me. You left me alone at the hospital. I was suffering too. I didn't know how to deal. And now you do?" shouted Maya. 2 years later, you decided you know how to deal?" Harrison watched the scene, feeling anger grow inside him. That man had shattered Maya at the most vulnerable moment of her life, and now he showed up wanting a second chance. "Maya, give me a chance to explain," insisted Brandon. "No," said Harrison firmly. "She already said no. Now you leave, or I'll call the police." "This isn't over, Maya," said Brandon before leaving. "I'll be back." After Brandon's departure, Maya was visibly shaken. Her hands trembled, and she tried to hold back tears. "It's okay," said Harrison softly. "He's gone." "I'm sorry," sobbed Maya. "I didn't want this to happen here." "You don't have to apologize for anything. How did he find out where you work?" "I don't know. Maybe he hired someone to look for me." "Could he come back?" "Knowing Brandon, yes." "Then let's take precautions. I'll hire security for the house." "You don't need to do that for me. It's not just for you, it's for my family's safety, and you are part of my family." The words came out naturally, but both felt their weight. Maya looked at Harrison in surprise. "I'm part of your family? Of course you are. You take care of my children, you know every detail of our lives, you worry about us. If that's not family, I don't know what is." Maya smiled through her tears. "Thank you. Now let's check on the boys. They must have sensed the commotion." They went upstairs together to the baby's room. Noah and Liam were awake in their cribs, looking at the ceiling with curious expressions. "They know when something's wrong," commented Maya, picking up Noah. "How do they know?" "Babies are very sensitive to adults' energy. If we're tense, they feel it." Harrison picked up Liam and felt the baby relax in his arms. "It's all right now," he murmured to his son. "Daddy and Auntie Maya are here." "Auntie Maya," repeated Maya thoughtfully. "I like how that sounds. To them, you're not just the aunt. You're the most important person after me." "Sometimes I think I'm even more important than you," Maya joked. "Sometimes I think so too," laughed Harrison. They spent the rest of the afternoon at home, creating an atmosphere of normalcy after the incident with Brandon. Harrison cancelled all his meetings for the day to stay close to Maya, in case Brandon returned. That evening, while putting the babies to sleep, Maya seemed calmer. "Thank you for defending me today," she said. "I will always defend you. Always. Always." They looked at each other once more, with that intensity that had become familiar. Harrison felt the urge to kiss her, to take her in his arms and promise he would never let anyone hurt her. But he restrained himself. "Maya, can I ask you a question about Brandon?" "Of course." "Do you still feel anything for him?" "Disgust," she answered without hesitation. "When I needed him most, he ran away. That I will never forgive." What if he really changed? People like Brandon don't change. They only come back when they realize they've lost something valuable. He lost you. He lost the chance to build a family with me. Now it's too late. Even if he begs? Even if he begs. Harrison felt relief at the firmness of her answer. The following week, life returned to normal, but Harrison hired discreet security to watch the house during the day. Brandon did not reappear, but Maya still got nervous when she heard unfamiliar cars on the street. It was during that week that something happened that would change everything between them. Harrison was working late at home when he heard a strange noise coming from upstairs. He went up quickly and found Maya in the hallway, holding Liam and trying to calm Noah at the same time. What happened? "They woke up crying at the same time," she explained, visibly tired. "I think they had nightmares." "Babies don't have nightmares." "Of course they do. They dream just as much as we do." Harrison took Noah and tried to calm him, but the baby remained agitated. "Maybe they're missing something," suggested Harrison. "What?" "Their mother." Maya looked at him surprised. "Do you think they remember Claire?" "I don't know, but maybe they miss a constant female presence." "They have a female presence. They have me." "But you leave every night." Maya understood the implicit suggestion. "Are you suggesting I sleep here?" "I'm suggesting you live here." The silence that followed was charged with tension. "Harrison, just think about what's best for them." "And for you? What would be best for you?" The question caught him off guard. It was the first time she had asked about his feelings. "For me, it would be comforting to know you're here." "Comforting." "I feel more like a father when you're around," he admitted. "You teach me things about my own children that I'd never figure out alone." Noah finally calmed down in Harrison's arms, while Liam was already asleep in Maya's arms. "I'll think about your proposal," she said softly. "It's not a proposal. It's an invitation." "What's the difference?" "A proposal would be for their good. The invitation is because I want you here." Maya felt her heart race. "Why?" "Because over the last few months, you've become essential in my life. Because when you're not here, the house feels empty. Because—" He stopped, realizing he was about to confess feelings he hadn't even fully processed himself. "Because I—" Noah started crying again, interrupting the moment. "Let's put them to sleep first," said Maya, sensing the moment was getting too intense. They took the babies to the bedroom and worked together to soothe them. Harrison sang a song that Claire used to sing during the pregnancy, while Maya stroked the boy's hair. After 15 minutes, both babies were sound asleep. "It felt so natural," commented Maya. "What? The two of us taking care of them together, as if we were a couple." The statement hung in the air between them. "Yes," whispered Maya. "And did you like how it felt?" "I did," she admitted, blushing. "Me too." They left the bedroom in silence and went downstairs to the living room. The sexual tension between them was palpable now. "Maya, I need to confess something." "What?" "I'm falling in love with you." The words came out before he could stop them. Maya looked at him with wide eyes. "Harrison, I know it's complicated. I know you work for me, that we have different histories, that it might be too soon. It's not that." "Then what is it?" "It's that I'm falling in love with you too." Now it was Harrison's turn to be surprised. "You are?" "For weeks. But I thought it was wrong, that it would be betraying Claire's memory." "Maya, Claire died. I need to live. And you want to live with me?" "I want to try." They moved closer slowly. When they finally kissed, it was with all the pent-up passion from months of denied feelings. The kiss was interrupted by the sound of keys in the door. Mrs. Evelyn was entering the house using the spare key. "Harrison, I came to see if—" She stopped abruptly upon seeing them quickly separate. "What's going on here?" "Mom, what are you doing here at this hour?" "I came to check on my grandchildren, but I see you were busy." The accusatory tone was unmistakable. "Mrs. Evelyn," said Maya, still flushed. I'll get my things." "Maya, wait," pleaded Harrison. "No, it's fine," said Mrs. Evelyn. "It's better if she leaves now." "Mom." "Harrison, what do you think you're doing? This girl works for you." "This girl has a name," Harrison retorted, "and she takes care of your grandchildren better than anyone else." "And so you think you can take advantage of her?" "Take advantage?" "Mom, I'm falling in love with her." "Don't be ridiculous. It's just loneliness after Claire's death." Maya, who had stopped on the stairs, came back down. "Mrs. Evelyn is right," she said calmly. "Perhaps I'm confusing gratitude with feelings." "Maya." "No," protested Harrison. "It's better this way. I'll finish the week and then look for another job." "You can't do that." "Yes, I can. And I should." She went up the stairs to get her purse, leaving Harrison and Mrs. Evelyn alone in the living room. "Are you satisfied?" asked Harrison, furious. "I'm protecting you from making a mistake." "The only mistake I'm making is listening to you." "Harrison, think with your head. This girl is 15 years younger than you, has no formal education, comes from no family of means." "So what? So what means you have nothing in common besides the babies?" "That's not true." "Oh, really? What do you talk about? About your trips abroad? About the books you've read? About investments?" "We talk about important things, about loss, about hope, about love. That's romantic for a few months. Then it turns into problems." Maya came down with her purse in hand. "Thank you for everything, Harrison. I'll take care of the boys until Friday, then you can look for a replacement." "Maya, please don't do this. It's the right thing to do." She headed for the door, but Harrison grabbed her arm. "What if I said I love you?" Maya felt her eyes fill with tears. "I'd say you're confusing your feelings." "I'm not confusing anything." "Harrison, you lost your wife just a few months ago. It's natural to transfer feelings to the person caring for her children." "Do you really believe that?" "I have to believe it." "Why?" "Because if I don't believe it, I'll fall hopelessly in love with you. And when you get tired, I'll suffer twice the loss." "I won't get tired. All men get tired." "I'm not all men." "Brandon used to say that too." The comparison was like a slap in Harrison's face. "I'm not Brandon, Maya." "No, you're worse. You have more to lose if this goes wrong." With those words, she left the house, leaving Harrison and Mrs. Evelyn in the living room. "See," said Mrs. Evelyn, "the girl is smart. She knows it wouldn't work out." Harrison didn't answer. He went upstairs to check on the children and found them sleeping peacefully, unaware of the drama that had happened downstairs. For the first time in months, he felt completely alone again. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. The next 3 days were torturous. Maya arrived promptly at 7 in the morning and cared for the babies with the same dedication as always, but avoided any unnecessary contact with Harrison. When they needed to talk, she remained strictly professional. "The boys fed at 5:30, she would report when he asked about the routine. "Noah had a bit of colic, but it passed after the massage." "Thank you," Harrison would reply, desperately wishing she would look him in the eye. On Tuesday, Mrs. Evelyn came back to check if Maya was really planning to leave. She found her in the garden with the babies, enjoying the morning sun. "So you're really leaving?" she asked, sitting on the bench beside her. "Yes, ma'am. I've already found another job." "Where?" "With a family in the Upper West Side. They also have twins, but older, 2 years old." "And will you live there?" "No. I'm going back to living alone in the apartment I shared with a friend." Mrs. Evelyn watched how Noah and Liam interacted with Maya. It was impossible to deny the bond that existed there. "May I ask a personal question?" "Of course." Do you really feel something for my son? Maya took a while to answer. I do. Then why are you leaving? Because it's the right thing to do. For whom? For everyone. For him, for me, for the boys. What if I said maybe I was too harsh on Monday? Maya looked at her, surprised. What do you mean? I mean I spent 2 days observing my son. He is unhappy. More unhappy than he was before you showed up. It's just a phase, he'll get used to it. And the boys? Last night Noah cried for 2 hours. Harrison couldn't calm him down. Babies go through difficult phases. Maya, can I be honest with you? Please. I'm afraid my son will never find love again. The confession surprised Maya. Why do you say that? Because ever since Claire died, he closed himself off to everything. He only lived for work until you showed up. I just take care of his boys. No, you brought life back to this house. Laughter, music, affection. Maya felt her eyes well up. But you said we were too different. I said a lot of foolish things. Fear of losing my son makes me say terrible things sometimes. And now? Now I see that perhaps the biggest risk is him being alone forever. Liam started whimpering in the stroller. Maya automatically picked him up, and he calmed down instantly. Look at that, pointed out Mrs. Evelyn. He recognizes you as his mother. I am not his mother. You could be. Mrs. Evelyn. Maya, answer me one thing. Would you be able to love my grandchildren as if they were your own true children? I already do, she replied without hesitation. And my son? Would you be able to love him despite all the social differences? I already love him too. Then why are you running away? Because I'm afraid. Of what? Of giving myself completely and him discovering I'm not enough. Mrs. Evelyn was silent for a few minutes, just watching Maya interact with the babies. Can I tell you a story? Of course. When Harrison's father asked me to marry him, my family was against it. He was just an accountant. I was the daughter of prosperous merchants. Everyone said it would fail. And what happened? We married anyway. We had 40 years of happy marriage until he passed away. But you were from the same social class. We weren't. He was poor. I was middle class. The social difference existed. And how did you overcome it? Love. A lot of love and a lot of effort from both sides. Maya absorbed the story in silence. Are you telling me to stay? I'm telling you to follow your heart. And if it goes wrong? And if it goes right? That afternoon, after the conversation with Mrs. Evelyn, Maya was more thoughtful than usual. Harrison noticed the change, but didn't dare ask the reason. It was during the baby's bath that something extraordinary happened. Noah, who still didn't speak clear words, looked directly at Maya and babbled something that sounded distinctly like, Mama. Maya froze. Did you hear that? She asked Harrison, who was helping with Liam. I heard. He said, Mama. He called you Mama. Tears rolled down Maya's face. I can't. It's not right. Why isn't it right? Harrison asked softly. You are the only maternal figure they know. But their mother is Claire. Claire brought them into the world. You are raising them. Both are their mothers, each in their own way. Maya looked at Noah, who kept splashing the water and smiling at her. Mama, repeated the baby, clearer this time. Hi, my love, whispered Maya. Mama is here. It was the first time she allowed herself to accept the title. Harrison felt his heart warm hearing it. There was something profoundly right about that scene. Maya being recognized by the babies as their mother. Maya, he said softly. Yes? Don't leave. She looked at him through her tears. Harrison, please, they need you. I need you. Need me as an employee? I need you as a partner, as the woman I love, as the mother of my children. And your mother? She will never accept it. My mother already has. She spoke to me an hour ago. What? She admitted she was wrong, that you're exactly what this family needs. Maya finished washing Noah in silence, processing the information. "And if it doesn't work?" she finally asked. "And if it does? You're echoing your mother." She's a wise woman. After finishing the baby's bath, they sat in the living room to talk. "Harrison, I need you to understand something," said Maya. "What?" "If we stay together, it won't be easy. I don't have a college education. I don't know the business world. I don't know how to behave at social events." "So what?" "People will judge. They'll say I'm a gold digger, that I took advantage of the situation. Let them talk. Can you handle that? For you, I can handle anything. And what if you get tired of the simplicity of my life? Maya, you've brought more life into my existence these past few months than I've had in years. How could I get tired of that? Because you're used to a sophisticated life. I'm tired of the sophisticated life. I want simplicity. I want to wake up to children's laughter. I want family dinners. I want someone who cares if I got home safely from work. That I can give you. That's all I need." Maya was silent for a few moments. "And if I say I accept trying, I'd say you'd make me the happiest man in the world. Even knowing I'll make social blunders. Even knowing. And that sometimes I'll feel insecure. I'll be there to reassure you. And that maybe I'll never be elegant like Claire was. You have your own elegance. The elegance of the heart." Maya smiled through her tears. "Okay, let's try." Harrison stood up and kissed her softly. "Thank you for giving me this chance. Thank you for seeing in me more than just a simple employee. You were never just a simple employee. From the first day, you were so much more than that." They embraced, finally allowing their feelings to flow freely. "And now?" asked Maya. "Now we'll go upstairs to say goodnight to our children." "Our children?" "Noah and Liam. They're ours now." Maya felt her heart fill with a happiness she hadn't experienced in years. For the first time since she lost Lily, she felt she was in the right place with the right people. They went upstairs together to the baby's room. Noah and Liam slept peacefully, unaware that their lives had just changed forever. "Good night, my darlings," whispered Maya, kissing each one's forehead. "Good night, boys," said Harrison. "Now you have a complete family again." When they left the room, Maya stopped in the hallway. "Harrison, there's one thing I need to know." "What?" "What will we tell people about our relationship, about how we met?" "The truth. That you came to work here, cared for my children with so much love that I fell in love with you, and if they ask if it's strange that I was your employee, I'll say no, that the best love stories start in the most unexpected ways." Maya smiled. "I like that answer. And you? Are you ready to deal with the looks and comments?" "With you by my side, I think I can face anything." They went downstairs to the living room and settled on the sofa, finally relaxed and at peace. "Can I confess something?" said Harrison. "Of course. For weeks I've been imagining what it would be like if you were my wife." "Really?" "I imagined you waking up here, having coffee with me, taking care of the boys not as an employee but as a mother. And how was it in that imagination?" "Perfect. It was exactly how it should be." "And now that it can become reality?" "Now I'm nervous." Harrison laughed. "Why?" "Because fantasies are safe. Reality takes courage." "Do you have courage?" "For you, I have all the courage in the world." Maya snuggled next to him on the sofa. "Harrison, promise me one thing. Anything. If you ever realize we've made a mistake, tell me. Don't let me find out alone." "I promise. But promise me, you won't run away at the first problem either." "I promise." They stayed like that for an hour, just talking about the future, about dreams, about what it would be like to organize their lives together. "Where will I sleep?" Maya asked eventually. "There's a guest room that can be yours," said Harrison, until we decide to take the next step. "Thank you for being respectful. I want to do everything right with you. And I want to deserve all this consideration." The next morning, Maya woke up in the guest bed with a strange feeling. For a few seconds, she didn't know where she was. Then she remembered. She was home. In her new home. She went down to the kitchen and found Harrison making coffee. He was wearing a simple t-shirt and jeans, very different from the formal suits he wore to work. "Good morning," she said timidly. "Good morning, beautiful." The beautiful made her blush. Are the boys still sleeping? Yes, I thought I'd let them rest a little longer since it's Friday. And you, aren't you going to work? I am, but later. I want to have coffee with you first. Like a normal family. Exactly like a normal family. They sat at the kitchen table with coffee, bread, and fruit. It was a simple scene, but full of meaning. It's strange, Maya commented. What? Being seated here as your girlfriend instead of your nanny. How does it feel? Scary and wonderful at the same time. For me too. Really? I haven't dated anyone in 4 years, and I've never dated someone who already knew my kids so well. It is a unique situation. But you know what amazes me the most? What? How natural it feels, as if it had always been this way, Maya smiled. I feel that too. At that moment, they heard the first morning cry coming from upstairs. Noah is awake, Maya said automatically. How do you know it's Noah and not Liam? Noah's cry is more musical. Liam's is more direct. Shall we go see them together? Of course. They went upstairs, holding hands, and found Noah standing in the crib, holding onto the rail and looking toward the door. Mama! He exclaimed upon seeing Maya. Hi, my love, she said, picking him up. Did you sleep well? Liam woke up with the movement and also reached his little arms out for Maya. Dada, he babbled, looking at Harrison. It was the first time one of the babies had clearly called him Daddy. Did you hear that? Said Harrison, moved. They know, said Maya. They know we're a family now. Dada, Mama, repeated Liam, pointing at the two of them. That's right, my love, said Harrison, picking him up. Daddy and Mommy. Maya felt tears of happiness running down her face. She had never imagined she could feel so complete. Shall we have breakfast together? Harrison suggested. As a family, Maya agreed. They went downstairs with the babies and set up a special table. Maya prepared bottles while Harrison cut fruit into tiny pieces for the boys to try to eat. They're growing up fast, Maya commented. Soon they'll be running around the house. And getting into mischief. And keeping us awake for completely different reasons, laughed Harrison. I can't wait. Even knowing it will be chaotic. Especially knowing it will be chaotic. Happy chaos is the best thing in the world. After breakfast, Harrison had to go to work, but he promised to come back early for lunch. Are you sure you don't want me to start looking for another job? Maya asked before he left. Why? Because now that we are what we are, maybe it's not appropriate for me to keep being paid to take care of the boys. Harrison stopped to think. You're right. It doesn't make sense for you to get a salary to take care of your own children. But I need to contribute financially somehow. For now, your contribution is taking care of the house and the boys. When they grow up, we can think about you studying or working in another field. You would do that? Support me to study? Of course. If it's your dream, it's my dream too. I've always wanted to study education. Then we'll make it happen. Maya kissed him goodbye, still not fully believing the turn her life had taken. Throughout the morning she cared for the babies as always, but now with a completely different feeling. It was no longer a job, it was pure love. You know Mummy loves you very much, right? She said to Noah and Liam as they played on the living room rug. And that I'll never let anything bad happen to you? Noah babbled a reply as he tried to grab a colorful toy. And Daddy loves you too. And Grandma Evelyn, even though she sometimes seems angry, loves you very much too. Liam rolled onto his belly and tried to crawl. Look at that. You're almost crawling, exclaimed Maya. I'll tell Daddy when he gets back. The word Daddy came out naturally now, without the formal weight it had before. Around noon the doorbell rang. Maya looked out the window and saw a delivery van. Delivery for the Sterling family, said the delivery person. I'll accept it, replied Maya, signing as Maya Sterling without even thinking. Only afterward did she realize what she had done. She had automatically signed with Harrison's last name, as if she were already officially part of the family. When she opened the package, she found a set of baby clothes she had commented on at an online store the previous week, thinking about buying them with her salary. Harrison had remembered and ordered them. The note said, "For our boys with love from Daddy and Mummy." Maya cried with emotion. It was the first time someone had included her in a decision about a gift for a child since she lost Lily. When Harrison arrived for lunch, she ran to hug him. "Thank you for the clothes," she said. "Did you like them?" "I loved them. But more than that, I loved the note." "What was so special about the note?" "You wrote from Daddy and Mommy, as if I had chosen it together." "But you did choose. You commented that you thought the clothes were beautiful." "But I was just the employee when I said that. To me, you were already their mother at that moment. It just took me some time to admit it." "When did you realize you saw me as their mother?" Harrison thought for a moment. "The day you slept with them in the bed. When I came home and saw that scene, I thought, there is the family I always wanted to have. Even though I was just an employee?" "Maya, you were never just an employee. From the first day, there was something special in the way you cared for them. And now you are officially their mother and my partner." "Officially how?" "As in, would you like to marry me?" The question came out spontaneously, surprising them both. "Are you proposing to me?" "I guess I am," laughed Harrison, also surprised by his own question. "Just like that, out of nowhere?" "Just like that, out of nowhere." "In the middle of the kitchen?" "In the middle of the kitchen." "Without a ring?" "Without a ring." "And you expect me to answer?" "I do." Maya looked into his eyes, searching for any sign of doubt. She found none. "Yes," she said simply. "Yes?" "Yes, I will marry you." "Even though it was an improposal?" "Especially because it was improvised. It means it came from the heart." They kissed passionately, sealing the commitment in a simple and perfect way. "When?" asked Maya. "Whenever you want. Tomorrow." "Tomorrow? Why wait?" "Because we need documents, a venue, guests. We need the two of us, the boys, and a justice of the peace. The rest is just ceremony." Harrison smiled. Once again, Maya surprised him with her simplicity and practicality. "All right, if we can schedule it, we'll get married tomorrow." "Really? Really? And where will we live?" "Here. This is already our home. And a honeymoon. With 2 3-month-old babies, our honeymoon will be when they turn 18. Maya laughed. "Perfect. I don't want to leave them anyway." That afternoon, while Harrison returned to work to handle urgent matters, Maya called her mother in the Midwest to share the news. "Mom, I have something to tell you." "What is it, dear?" "I'm getting married." "What do you mean? To whom?" "To my boss. I mean my ex-boss." "Maya, what kind of story is that?" "It's a long story, Mom. But in short, I fell in love with him and his children, and they fell in love with me. And is he a good man?" "He's the kindest man I've ever met." "And he treats you well?" "He treats me like a princess." "And his children, do they accept you?" "They call me Mama, Mom. They see me as their mother." On the other line, Maya's mother began to cry. "Mom, are you okay?" "I'm happy, dear. Since you lost Lily, I hadn't seen you truly happy. Now I can hear the happiness in your voice. It's true, I'm happier than I ever thought I could be again." "And when is the wedding?" "Tomorrow." "Tomorrow. Dear, that's so fast." "Mum, when it's true love, you don't need to wait." "But I want to be there." "You will be. I'll pick you up tonight. Harrison has already arranged everything." "He arranged it?" "He said I can't get married without my mother present. That man has won my heart too." That evening, Harrison and Maya went to pick up her mother at the airport. Mrs. Margaret was a simple woman, 60 years old, who was visibly nervous to meet Harrison. "Very pleased to meet you, Mrs. Margaret," he said respectfully. "Maya speaks so highly of you." "The pleasure is mine," she replied timidly. "Thank you for taking such good care of my daughter." "Actually, she's the one who takes care of me and my children. May I meet the boys?" "Of course. They're eager to meet their new grandma." Mrs. Margaret's eyes filled with tears upon hearing that. "New grandma?" "Of course," said Maya. "Noah and Liam now have 2 grandmas, Evelyn and you." When they arrived home, Mrs. Evelyn was waiting with the babies in her arms. "Mrs. Margaret," she said formally, "welcome to the family. Thank you for having me. Your granddaughters told us the boys were beautiful, but I never imagined they'd be so perfect," said Mrs. Margaret, looking at the twins. "Would you like to hold one of them?" offered Mrs. Evelyn. "May I? Of course, you're a grandma now too." Mrs. Margaret carefully took Noah into her arms, and the baby accepted her calmly. "He looks just like Maya did when she was little," she remarked. "That curious little face. And he has her sweet temperament," added Mrs. Evelyn. Seeing the two grandmothers interacting harmoniously was a relief for Maya and Harrison. "So it's really tomorrow?" asked Mrs. Margaret. "It's really tomorrow," confirmed Harrison. "And where will it be?" "At the City Hall downtown, simple and quick." "And after?" "Afterwards, we'll have a family lunch and begin our life together." "No party?" "The party will be every day of our life," said Maya. That night the two mothers helped Maya choose her wedding dress. She had bought a simple but elegant white dress. "You look beautiful," said Mrs. Evelyn. "Harrison will be moved." "Do you truly approve of this marriage?" asked Maya. "Completely. You were made for each other. Even with all the differences complement you. You brought simplicity and genuine love. He brought stability and protection." "And the boys?" "The boys gained a real mother. There's no greater gift than that." On the morning of the wedding, Harrison woke up nervous. It wasn't about the vows themselves, but about taking such an important step just months after losing Claire. When he went downstairs for coffee, he found Maya already dressed in her white dress, feeding the twins their bottles. "Good morning, groom," she said, smiling. "Good morning, bride," he replied. "You look beautiful." "Thank you. Are you nervous?" "A little, and you?" "Emotional." "No regrets?" "None. And you?" "Only that we didn't do this sooner." They kissed softly, already anticipating the moment they would officially become a family. The wedding was exactly as they had planned. Simple, quick, and emotional. Just the couple, the two mothers, the babies, and two witnesses Harrison had called from the office. When the judge asked if Harrison accepted Maya as his wife, he answered with a firm voice, "I do, to care for her and love her every day of my life." When it was Maya's turn, she said, "I do, to be his companion and mother to our children. I now pronounce you husband and wife." The kiss was long and full of promises. Noah and Liam, in their grandmother's arms, clapped their little hands as if they understood the importance of the moment. "Now we are officially a family," whispered Harrison in Maya's ear. "The family I always dreamed of having," she replied. After the celebratory lunch, Mrs. Margaret returned to the Midwest and Mrs. Evelyn went home, leaving the newlyweds alone with the babies. "So now, Mr. and Mrs. Sterling," asked Harrison. "Now we're going to live happily ever after," said Maya. "Do you really believe in happily ever after? With you and with them?" "I believe in everything." They sat on the sofa with the babies between them, finally relaxed and complete. "Can I confess something?" said Harrison. "Of course. Since the first day you slept with them, I've been dreaming of this moment." "Of what moment?" "Of being here, officially married to you, being their father with you as their official mother." "And does it meet your expectations?" "It surpasses all of them." Maya snuggled beside him, watching Noah and Liam play with their own feet. "Harrison?" "Yes?" "Thank you for giving me the chance to be a mother again. Thank you for agreeing to be the mother they needed. And that you needed too." "How so?" "You also needed someone to take care of you, to worry if you got home safe, to warm up your food, to listen about your day." "That's true. I didn't realize how lonely I was until you showed up. And now I know I'll never be alone again." That night, for the first time, they slept in the same room. Nothing happened beyond whispered conversations and gentle caresses, but it symbolized the true beginning of their married life. "Are you afraid of anything?" asked Harrison in the darkness. "Of not being a good wife?" "Impossible. You're already the best mother I know." "Being a mother and being a wife are different things." "You'll learn. We'll learn together." "And if I do something wrong?" "We'll talk about it and adjust. And if we fight, we'll make up. And if—" "Maya," Harrison interrupted gently, Stop looking for trouble where there isn't any. We're fine. We're happy. That's what matters. You're right. I always am, he teased. Hey, she protested, giving him a playful elbow nudge. Just kidding. You're the one who's always right when it comes to the boys. We make a good team. The best team in the world. They fell asleep holding each other, finally at peace, knowing they had found exactly what they were looking for in each other. 3 months after the wedding, the Sterling family routine had settled in perfectly. Maya had turned the house into a true home. There was always music, laughter, and the smell of home-cooked food. Noah and Liam, now 6 months old, had developed distinct personalities that complemented each other. Noah was more observant and calm, while Liam was energetic and curious. They both loved being in Maya's arms, but they had also developed a special bond with Harrison. "Dada," Liam would shout every morning when Harrison appeared in the room. "Mama," Noah would respond, reaching his little arms out for Maya. It was as if they had divided the roles between themselves, each choosing a favorite but loving both parents equally. Harrison had significantly reduced his work hours to be more present at home. He discovered he preferred family dinners to any business meeting. "Don't you miss the social life?" asked Maya one night as they bathed the twins. "What social life? Dinners, events, trips? Are you kidding? I'd rather bathe the boys with you than any fancy event." "Really? Maya, I'm happier now than I've ever been in my entire life. Even with all the mess. Especially with all the mess." It was true. The house was now always full of scattered toys, little clothes drying on the line, and the sounds of babies. For Harrison, it was the perfect symphony. One Saturday morning, while they played in the garden, Maya received an unexpected call. "Hello? Maya, it's Brandon." She froze. Months had passed since their last contact. "What do you want, Brandon? Can I come there to talk to you?" "No. Please. It's important. I have nothing to talk to you about. It's about Lily." The name of her lost daughter still had the power to take her breath away. "What about Lily?" "I found some of her things that I had kept. I thought you might like to have them." Maya looked at Harrison, who was playing with the twins on the grass. Her life had completely changed since she met that family. "Brandon, that was 2 years ago. Why now?" "Because I've finally managed to deal with the loss. And I realized I was unfair to you. It was more than unfair. I know, that's why I want to apologize in person." "It's not necessary." "Yes, it is. For me, it's necessary." Harrison noticed something was wrong and approached. "Is everything okay?" he asked softly. "It's Brandon," whispered Maya. Harrison made a face of distaste, but simply nodded for her to decide what she wanted to do. "Brandon, I can talk to you on the phone. You don't need to come here. Please, Maya, I promise I won't bother you. I just want to return Lily's things and apologize." Maya hesitated. There was a part of her that needed closure with that story. "All right, but my husband will be present." "Husband?" "Yes, I got married." With the guy from the house where you worked?" "With Harrison, yes. Quick, don't you think? Brandon, if you're coming, be respectful. If you can't be respectful, don't come." "Sorry, can it be this afternoon?" "It can." After hanging up, Maya sat down heavily on the garden bench. "Are you sure you want to receive him?" asked Harrison. "I'm not sure of anything, but I feel I need to close this chapter for good." "Do you want me to stay close by?" "Please." "Of course. And if he makes any inappropriate comment, he leaves." "Agreed." That afternoon, Brandon arrived promptly at 3 o'clock. He was thinner and looked older than Maya remembered. He carried a small shoebox. "Hi, Maya." "Hi, Brandon. This is my husband, Harrison." "Pleasure," said Harrison formally, but without extending his hand. "Pleasure," replied Brandon, clearly uncomfortable. "Let's sit on the porch," suggested Maya. The three settled on the porch. Maya and Harrison sat together on the wicker sofa, while Brandon took the single chair. "First of all," said Brandon, "I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart." Maya just nodded, waiting for him to continue. "I was a coward. At the moment you needed me most, I ran away." "Why?" asked Maya. "I never understood why." Because seeing you was seeing Lily, and I couldn't handle the pain. I was suffering too, Brandon. I know. And I should have suffered with you, not run away. You should have. Maya, I still love you. Harrison tensed beside Maya. Brandon, no, she said firmly. This conversation cannot go down that path. Why not? We had plans, dreams together. We did. In the past. And now? Are you happy? Maya looked at Harrison and smiled. Very happy. Happier than you were with me. Brandon, that's none of your business. Yes, it is. We were together for 4 years. Were, Harrison intervened. Now she's my wife. And do you truly love her, or did you just take advantage of her vulnerability? Harrison stood up, but Maya held him by the arm. Brandon, she said in a calm but firm voice, Harrison gave me everything you never knew how to give. He took me in during my pain, gave me a family, made me feel loved and protected. I loved you too. No. You loved the idea of me. When things got hard, you disappeared. Brandon fell silent, absorbing her words. And this box? Asked Maya, pointing to the package he had brought. They're Lily's things, ultrasounds, the hospital bracelet, some little clothes we bought. Maya felt her eyes fill with tears. Why did you keep all this if you couldn't handle the loss? Because deep down I knew that one day I would need to return it to you. She took the box with trembling hands. Harrison placed a hand on her back to support her. Thank you, she said softly. Maya, can I ask a question? What? Have you managed to get over losing Lily? I never got over it. I learned to live with it. How? By finding love again. By being a mother again. You have children with him. I have 2 children, she said, looking at Harrison with love. Noah and Liam, 6-month-old twins. Oh, said Brandon, clearly surprised. And can you love them without thinking of Lily? I love them while thinking of Lily, as if she sent them to heal me. Brandon was silent for a few moments. You seem at peace. I am at peace. And happy. Very happy. Then, I guess you managed to find what you deserved. I did. Brandon got up to leave. Maya, thank you for seeing me. And I'm sorry for everything. You're forgiven, Brandon. Really? Really. I held on to anger towards you for 2 years. Now I just feel sorry that you lost the chance to build something beautiful with me. Yeah, I really did lose it. And Harrison? Brandon addressed him. Take good care of her. Always, Harrison replied simply. After Brandon left, Maya spent a few minutes looking at the box. Do you want to open it alone? Asked Harrison. No, I want to open it with you. Are you sure? I am. You are part of my life now. Lily's memories are yours too. They opened the box together. Inside were 5 ultrasounds, a small pink hospital bracelet, 2 tiny outfits, and a photo of Maya's pregnant belly. She was beautiful, said Harrison, looking at the images. She was. And she would have been a wonderful big sister to Noah and Liam. Do you think she would approve of our marriage? I'm sure she would. I think she chose you to take care of her mommy. Harrison kissed Maya's forehead gently. What do you want to do with these things? Keep them in my nightstand forever. And if Noah and Liam ask about them when they're older, I'll tell them about the little sister they have in heaven. And if they want to have other siblings here on earth? Maya looked at him, surprised. You want to have more children? I want everything with you, children, grandchildren, a whole lifetime. Even knowing I might have complications again? We'll face whatever comes, together. And if we can't have biological children? I already have 2 beautiful children with you, but they aren't biologically mine. They are in my heart, and sometimes that's stronger than biology. That night, after putting Noah and Liam to sleep, Maya carefully placed Lily's mementos in the nightstand. There, she said. Now I have my past and my present organized. And the future. The future we'll build day by day. With more children. If God wills it and medicine allows it. And if it doesn't? We'll be the perfect family we already are. Harrison hugged her from behind as she organized the items in the drawer. I love you, Maya Sterling. I love you, Harrison Sterling. Forever. Forever. 2 years later, the Sterling family had grown in every way. Noah and Liam, now 2.5 years old, ran through the house talking non-stop and creating daily mischief. Maya was 7 months pregnant with a girl who would be named Lily Claire. The pregnancy had been closely monitored by a specialized medical team, and all tests indicated everything was perfectly fine. Mommy, is baby Lily going to play with us? Noah would ask every night. Yes, my love, but first she needs to grow a little bit. And will she like us? Liam would ask. She will love you. You are the most special brothers in the world. Harrison had become an even more dedicated father and a passionate husband. His company had grown, but he never again put work ahead of family. How are you feeling? He would ask every night, stroking Maya's belly. Blessed, fulfilled, complete. Scared? Sometimes, but not like the first time. Now I have you, and you always will. One Saturday morning, as they watched the twins play in the garden, Maya had a thought. Harrison. Yes? Do you believe in destiny? I never did, until I met you. Why? Because it would be too much of a coincidence for you to appear in my life exactly when I needed it most. And you in mine. It's as if we were made for each other, and the boys for us, and Lily to complete our family. Maya stroked her belly, feeling the baby move. I think she already knows us. How so? She always moves more when you talk. Do you think she'll look like you or me? I hope she has your character and my stubbornness. Why not my stubbornness? Laughed Harrison. Because mine is more efficient. That's true, he agreed, kissing her. Noah and Liam ran toward their parents. Mommy, Daddy, they shouted in chorus. Hi, my loves. We want to talk to Lily, said Noah. Then talk, said Maya, placing their hands on her belly. Hi, Lily, whispered Liam. I'm your brother Liam. And I'm Noah. We're waiting for you, said the other twin. Mommy said you're going to be very beautiful, added Liam, and that you'll play with us when you grow up, finished Noah. The baby kicked hard, as if answering her brothers. She heard, they both exclaimed at the same time. Of course she heard, said Maya. She already loves you. That afternoon, Mrs. Evelyn and Mrs. Margaret arrived together for the Sunday lunch, a tradition they had established. How is my granddaughter? Asked Mrs. Margaret, kissing Maya's belly. Active today, replied Maya. I think she's eager to meet everyone. Just like her mother, teased Mrs. Evelyn. You were also eager to fall in love with my son. Grandma Evelyn, protested Maya, laughing. It's true. From the first day you could see you were crazy about him. I was not. Yes, you were, defended Mrs. Margaret. In our phone conversations, you always talked about him. I talked about the babies. And about the baby's father, provoked Mrs. Evelyn. Harrison watched the scene, amused. Seeing the 3 most important women in his life getting along so well was a blessing. And you, Harrison? Asked Mrs. Margaret. Aren't you going to defend your wife? I can't defend lies, he joked. She herself confessed she dreamed the boys were her children. I didn't say I dreamed about them. I said I dreamed about you, corrected Maya, realizing too late what she had confessed. Aha, exclaimed the 2 mothers at the same time. There, now you've spilled the beans, said Harrison, kissing her on the cheek. Noah and Liam, who didn't understand the adults' conversation but sensed the joy, began to clap and laugh. Grandmas, shouted Liam. Tell a story. What story do you want? Asked Mrs. Evelyn. The story of how Mommy and Daddy met, requested Noah. You know that story by heart, said Maya. But we like to hear it, insisted Liam. All right, said Mrs. Margaret, picking both of them up onto her lap. Once upon a time there was a very sad daddy, because the first Mommy went to live in heaven, continued Noah, who knew the story. That's right, and he was alone with 2 tiny babies who cried a lot. That was us, exclaimed Liam. Exactly. Then a very beautiful lady appeared. Our Mommy Maya, they said together. and she was so loving that the babies stopped crying. "And Daddy fell in love," completed Noah. "And then they got married and lived happily ever after," concluded Mrs. Evelyn. "And now Lily is coming to complete the family," added Liam. "That's right, my love," said Maya, moved. It was amazing how such a simple story sounded so perfect coming from children. After lunch, while the grandmothers played with the boys, Harrison and Maya retreated to the porch. "What are you thinking about?" he asked, noticing she was quiet. "About how life can change so quickly. For the better. Much for the better. 3 years ago I was alone, destroyed by the loss of Lily, with no future prospects. And now I have a beautiful family. I'm expecting another baby, and I'm happier than I ever imagined possible. Any regrets? None. And you? Only that I didn't meet you sooner. If you had met me sooner, these wouldn't be our children." "True. And I wouldn't trade Noah and Liam for anything in the world." "Me neither." "And the Lily who is coming? She will be the toast of our perfect family." That night, while putting the twins to sleep, Liam asked an unexpected question. "Mommy, are you going to love Lily more than us?" Maya knelt beside his bed. "My love, a mother's heart is like a house with many rooms. Each child gets their own whole little room. Love doesn't get smaller, it grows." "But she will be a child from your belly," insisted Noah. "And we are not. You are children of my heart, and that's even more special, because the heart chose you." "Chose how?" "When Mommy saw you for the first time, her heart said, 'These are my children.' It didn't need a belly for that." "And now the heart is choosing Lily too?" "That's right. So we are all children of the heart," concluded Liam. "Exactly. I like that," said Noah. "Me too," agreed Liam. "And will you help Mommy and Daddy take care of Lily?" "We will," they said in unison. "We're the big brothers," said Noah proudly. "And big brothers protect the younger ones," added Liam. "You are perfect," said Maya, kissing them both. 1 month later, on a Tuesday morning, Maya felt the first contractions. Harrison calmly took her to the hospital, while Mrs. Evelyn stayed with Noah and Liam. "Are you nervous?" asked Maya as they drove. "A little. And you?" "Emotional. I want to meet our daughter. She will be beautiful like you, and smart like you, and loving like her brothers." After 6 hours of labor, Lily Claire Sterling was born, crying loudly and squirming. "She's a little warrior," said the doctor, handing the baby to Maya. "Just like her mother," commented Harrison, his eyes full of tears. Maya looked at her daughter and felt immense peace. Lily had dark eyes like hers and a small nose like Harrison's. "She's perfect," she whispered. "Completely perfect." "We did it," said Maya, looking at Harrison. "Did what?" "Made our dream family." When they returned home, Noah and Liam were eager to meet their sister. "She's tiny," observed Noah. "But she's growing," said Liam. "Can I give her a kiss?" asked Noah. "Of course, but gently," instructed Maya. The two brothers delicately kissed their sister's forehead as she slept peacefully. "She likes us," whispered Liam. "How do you know?" asked Harrison. "Because she smiled when we kissed her." "Babies don't smile at 2 weeks old," said Harrison. "Lily smiled," insisted Noah. "She's special." And maybe she was. Because from the very first days, Lily showed herself to be an exceptionally calm and happy baby, as if she knew she had been born into a family that had been waiting for her with so much love. 6 months after Lily's birth, the Sterling family was completely settled into the new routine. Noah and Liam, now 3 years old, were dedicated big brothers and always wanted to help take care of their sister. "Mommy, Lily is crying," one of them would announce every time the baby made any noise. "It's hunger," the other would diagnose with authority. Maya and Harrison were amused by the boys' dedication and began talking about the possibility of having more children in the future. "Do you want a big family?" asked Harrison one night as they watched their 3 children sleeping. "I want everything we have time to live together." "Does that mean yes?" "It means I'm happy with 3, but I'd be happy with 4 or 5 too. And if I told you I also dream of more children?" I'd say we have time for that. Lily isn't even walking yet. But when she is walking, then we'll talk again. At that time, Maya had started taking an online teaching course. Harrison fully supported her, taking care of the children whenever she needed to study. "How's the course going?" he would ask regularly. "Loving it. I'm learning things that help me be an even better mother." "You're already the best mother in the world. I can be even better." "And after you graduate, do you want to work?" "I want to open a little preschool here at home for children from 0 to 5 years old." "Really? Imagine how perfect. I can take care of our kids and still help other families." "I love the idea." "Really? You won't mind the activity?" "Maya, you've turned our house into the happiest home in the world. You can turn it into the happiest home for several families." And that's how the idea for Auntie Maya's preschool was born, which would open 2 years later in the Sterling's own home, serving 15 children from the neighborhood. But before that, a lot would happen. When Lily turned 1, the family received unexpected news. Maya was pregnant again. "It can't be," she said, looking at the pregnancy test. "It can't," laughed Harrison. "Apparently our family wasn't complete yet." "But Lily is still a baby. It will be a small age difference. They'll grow up like twins." "My God, 4 kids! Do you regret it?" "Regret it? I'm thrilled. Even with all the hustle it's going to be?" "Especially because of the hustle." Noah and Liam, when they found out they would have another little sibling, were ecstatic. "Will it be a boy or a girl?" they asked. "We'll find out together," said Maya. "I want it to be a boy to play cars with," said Noah. "I want it to be a girl to keep Lily company," said Liam. "And if it's a boy?" asked Harrison. "Then he'll play cars with Noah and protect the girls," decided Liam. The children's logic always surprised the parents. During this second pregnancy, Maya felt more confident and calm. She knew what to expect, had a solid support network, and most importantly, had Harrison by her side. "How are you feeling?" he would ask daily. "Happy, complete, a little tired sometimes, but happy. And scared. Much less than the first time. Now I know we can handle anything together." At 5 months pregnant, they found out it would be a boy. "Caleb," said Maya as soon as they knew. "Why Caleb?" "Because it was the name that came to mind, and it means messenger of God." "Perfect. Caleb Sterling." Noah, Liam, Lily, and Caleb, listed Maya. "Our family is getting big and perfect." When Caleb was born 2 years after Lily, the house turned into organized chaos. 4 small children created a constant energy that Maya and Harrison learned to manage with patience and much love. "It's not exactly what we planned when we met," commented Harrison one night, after putting all 4 children to bed. "It's much better than anything we planned," replied Maya. "Even with all this chaos?" "Especially with all this chaos, this house is full of life. And love. So much love." Noah and Liam, now 5 years old, were exemplary older brothers. They helped with 2-year-old Lily and were fascinated by baby Caleb. "Mommy, Caleb is crying," they announced every time the baby made any noise. "Maybe he's hungry," diagnosed Lily with her 2 little years, imitating her older brothers. The family had found its perfect rhythm. Mornings were chaotic, with 4 children needing to be dressed, fed, and cared for. Afternoons were calmer with organized naps. Evenings were for conversations between Harrison and Maya after everyone was asleep. "Are you happy?" Harrison would ask regularly. "Immensely happy," Maya always replied. "And you?" "Happier than I ever thought possible." "Any regrets?" "Only not having met you sooner. If you had met me sooner, we wouldn't have exactly these children." "True, and I wouldn't change any of them." "Neither would I." It was during this period of 4 young children that Maya had the idea to write a book about her experience. "A book?" asked Harrison. "About second chances, about healing love, about families that form in unexpected ways." "For children?" "For adults, for women who have lost babies, for widowed men, for people who think they'll never be happy again." "It's a beautiful idea." "You think so?" "I think your story could help a lot of people." Our story, she corrected. Our story. And so the book Healing Love was born, which Maya wrote in the early mornings after everyone was asleep. The book told the true story of how a housekeeper and a widowed businessman found each other through 2 babies and built a family based on true love. The book became a success, not because it was a perfect romantic story, but because it was a real story of overcoming and hope. "You've become a writer," said Harrison, holding the first copy. "I just wrote our story, which became an inspiration for other people. It's surreal. It's deserved." 5 years after Caleb's birth, when Noah and Liam were 10, Lily was 7 and Caleb was 5. The Sterling family was completely settled. Auntie Maya's preschool operated perfectly in the backyard of the house, serving 15 neighborhood children. Maya had graduated in education and become a respected educator in the area. Harrison had expanded his business, but always maintaining balance with family life. He never worked weekends or missed important events for the children again. "How did we get here?" Maya asked one evening, watching the 4 children playing in the yard. "Step by step, day after day," replied Harrison. "It seems like just yesterday you forgot the twins at home. Best mistake of my life." "Mistake?" "If you hadn't forgotten, you wouldn't have slept with them. I wouldn't have seen that beautiful scene. Maybe I never would have fallen in love." "You would have fallen in love. It just would have taken longer." "How can you be so sure?" "Because we were meant for each other." "Now you believe in destiny?" "I believe in love that finds a way." That night, after they had put all the children to bed, Harrison and Maya sat on the porch as they had for years. "Can I confess something?" said Harrison. "Always. Sometimes I still can't believe all this happiness is real." "Why?" "Because it's too much happiness for one person." "You're not one person. We are 6 people, a family." "That's true. And we deserve all this happiness." "We do. You deserve it for being a dedicated father from the start. I deserve it for not giving up after losing Lily. The children deserve it for being pure and full of love. And what did we do to deserve each other? We opened our hearts to true love. Was it that simple? True love is always simple. People complicate it. Noah appeared at the porch door, rubbing his eyes. "Dad, Mum, can I sleep with you tonight?" "Of course, my love," said Maya. "But why?" "I had a strange dream." "What kind of dream?" "I dreamed that you weren't my real parents." Maya and Harrison exchanged a look. The twins knew the family's story, but sometimes they were still processing the details. "Noah," said Harrison, picking him up, "do you know what makes someone a real father or mother?" "What?" "Love. Care. Being there every day." "But I didn't come from Mommy's tummy." "No," said Maya softly. "You came from Mommy's heart, and that's even more special." "Why?" "Because when a baby is born from a tummy, love happens naturally. When a baby is born from the heart, love is a choice. And Mommy chose you." "Forever?" "Forever. And if I do wrong things, I'll keep loving you and helping you do right things. And if I grow up and don't look like you, you don't have to look like us physically. You already look like us in what matters. In character, in kindness, in love for family." Noah seemed satisfied with the answers. "Can I call Liam to sleep with us too?" "You can. And Lily, if she wants. And Caleb." "Noah, if we call everyone, there won't be any room left in the bed," laughed Harrison. "Then let's all sleep in the living room." "Good idea," agreed Maya. "Let's have a family pajama night." They laid out mattresses and blankets in the living room and called all the children. In a few minutes, the entire family was lying together on the floor, telling stories and laughing. "This is my favorite family," said Lily. "You only have one family," laughed Liam. "Then it's perfect," she concluded. "Daddy, tell the story of how you met Mommy," asked Caleb. "You know that story by heart," said Harrison. "But we like to hear it," insisted Noah. "All right. Once upon a time there was a very sad daddy because the first Mommy had gone to live in heaven. And he had 2 little babies who cried a lot," continued Liam. Which was me and Noah, added Liam. Then a very beautiful and caring young woman appeared, Maya went on. That was you, exclaimed Lily. And she took care of the babies with so much love that they stopped crying and Daddy fell in love, finished Caleb. And then they got married and lived happily ever after, they all said together. And they had Lily and Caleb, added Lily. And now we are a complete family, concluded Noah. Complete and perfect, agreed Liam. Lying there in the living room all together, Maya and Harrison looked at each other over the children's heads and smiled. They had built something beautiful and lasting. Thank you, whispered Maya to Harrison. For what? For giving me the family of my dreams. Thank you for agreeing to be the mother I always wanted for my children. Our children. Our children. And so, in the simplicity of an ordinary evening, surrounded by the most important people in their lives, Harrison and Maya understood they had found the true meaning of happiness. It wasn't in grand gestures or material achievements, but in the small moments of pure love and genuine connection. Years later, when Noah and Liam would be in university, Lily in high school, and Caleb in elementary school, they would still remember that night as one of the most perfect moments of their childhood. Because some families are born, others are built. And the most special ones are those born in the heart and built with love, patience, and daily dedication. The Sterling family was definitely one of those special families, a family that began with a forgotten businessman, 2 crying babies, and a housekeeper with a mother's heart, and transformed into a love story that would last forever. End of story. So, what did you think of this story of love and overcoming? Did you get emotional following Maya and Harrison's journey? Leave a comment telling us which part touched your heart the most, the story of the housekeeper who became a mother or the businessman who learned to love again. Write in the comments where you're watching from and if you know a similar story in real life. Your comment is very important to us. Don't forget to leave your like if the story moved you and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other touching stories like this one. Thank you so much for your company.